and welcome back to Low Yoga. My name's Lorna and today I'm going to be taking you through a pregnancy yoga sequence that is suitable for beginners. So whether you've just done one or two yoga practices before you became pregnant, or whether you are completely new to yoga since becoming pregnant, then this is a perfect sequence for you. So lots of people like to start yoga when they are pregnant, and it has many benefits, including it can help to relieve aches and pains, it can help your baby get into the correct position ready for birthing, and it can also teach you some really great labour surviving techniques that you can do while you are in those first and second stages of labour. We also look at breathing techniques as well, which can really help during labour and to help you relax in those few weeks leading up to the birth of your baby. As this video is for beginners, it's really important that you listen to your body and notice how it's feeling, particularly if you haven't done much yoga before. Make sure that in each pose you're thinking about where you're feeling the muscles stretching, and if anything at all feels uncomfortable, then please come down, take a rest and come out of it. So what you're going to need for this practice, hopefully you've got yourself a yoga mat or maybe just a towel or something that you can use if this is your first time doing some yoga. And I would also recommend grabbing a block if you've got one. As I say, you can pick these up fairly cheaply from sports shops or online, but if you don't have access to one of these, then just grab yourself a book or something. It's only so that you can maybe raise the level of the floor up should you need to throughout the practice. You can also use a cushion. These are really nice to just sit on, to rest your head on in positions that we're going to be holding for a little bit. So make sure you've also got some water with you that you can grab throughout your practice. So let's get started. So let's begin in a nice seated position. So that can be onto a cushion, just sitting on the edge of the cushion. If it's comfortable to have your legs crossed, do that. If it's not comfortable, then just sitting with the legs outstretched. So any position that you can be in, a nice upright position with the chest open and making lots of room for your baby. So I'm going to be in a cross-legged position. And just rest the hands onto the thighs or the knees and just lift the shoulders up to the ears, and then exhale through the mouth and just allow the shoulders to drop down. So inhale up towards the ears and exhale, dropping down. Inhale once more up to the ears and allowing them to drop down, and just allow the shoulders to be soft, the fingers on the knees to be soft, and gently closing the eyes or taking the gaze down towards the floor, whichever feels more comfortable. And begin to check in with the body today. So just noticing where you might be feeling any tension, where you might be feeling a little achy. Maybe you can feel your baby moving, and just connecting into those sensations. And as you begin to notice the different feelings around the body, as you exhale, just begin to release any discomfort. So quite often when we have pain or tension, we like to tense up, is our automatic response. So we want to learn to use the exhale deeply and slowly to release any muscles that feel sore, tight. And just now turning your attention to your breath. So noticing the inhale going in through the nose, and then the exhale either coming out through the mouth as just a gentle sighing sound, or back out through the nose, whichever feels more comfortable for you. And you may notice the more you practice this, as your baby begins to grow, you have less space within your lungs, so you might find breathing a little bit more difficult. You might find the lungs are a bit more squashed up, so your breath is not as long as maybe it used to be. So it's really important to take time to slow the breathing down so that you can make use of your full lung capacity. And just seeing if you can make that exhale slightly longer than the inhale. So you're taking a deep inhale and a slow, long, relaxed exhale, not forcing it out. And just notice the movement within the body, so within the belly, within the ribs, within the chest. So just taking a couple more breaths, really tuning in to slowing your exhale. And this is really useful for your labour. So we want to be relaxing, we want to be breathing. And as we exhale, we want to feel that downward feeling, so that pushing down almost, but an effortless pushing. So is everything dropping down and releasing. And then just allow your breath to return to normal. And you may notice that it automatically is slower, is deeper than when you first started your practice. And then just beginning to become aware of your surroundings, keeping the eyes closed, but just noticing what's to the left, what's to the right, what's in front and behind. And feeling your hands resting on your knees, your spine still upright, still straight. Feeling each vertebra stacking one on top of the other, all the way up through the neck, reaching up through the crown of the head. And then just very gently opening the eyes, keeping the gaze low to begin with, and then as your eyes adjust to the light, slowly raising the gaze and the head back up. We're just going to start with some movement through the upper body, just to begin to make ourselves feel really nice and mobile. So we're just going to begin just by taking some gentle sways, and you can keep the eyes closed if you really want to tune into the body. But you're just noticing that fluid movement. So imagining it's like you're moving through treacle, or you are made of water. You're just gently flowing from side to side, and the head may move. And we want to feel all the muscles in the back just being really relaxed, really soft. And keeping the shoulders relaxed, down, away from the ears. And then coming back to the center. We're just going to start taking some circles around through the hips, so only going as far as comfortable. So you might just start off with some really small circles and then maybe making them bigger. So we're first of all starting to just concentrate through the hips. So circling around. And going into the opposite direction. And then what we're going to do is we're going to start to bring more of the back, more of the shoulders into the movement. So I'm going to come onto the side so you can see that movement. So we want to kind of feel like everything is moving and concentrating on arching my back and tilting my head forwards, opening up and curling under. And I'm bringing the shoulders into it as well, and also the hands. So I'm almost on a pivot, or the palms of the hands, so that I'm able to keep nice and soft and nice and fluid through these movements. And then coming back to the center and going into the opposite direction. So again, we're really including all of those muscles. I'm feeling that stretch into the back. Lovely, and then come back to the center. So just remaining here, we're just going to do one more. And we're just going to be tucking under, and obviously this is going to depend on how much room you have, how much space. But we're going to bring ourselves onto our fingertips onto the knees, tucking our chin in, and then pushing down into the knees, palms of the hands, opening up through the chest, so squeezing the shoulder blades together. And as we inhale, up onto the fingertips, we're curling under, really arching the back. And on our exhale, we're opening up. And I'm slightly leaning forwards onto my sit bones. Again, up onto the fingertips, really feel the shoulders drawing forwards, we're opening up into the back. And inhale, we're opening up into the chest. Squeeze the shoulder blades. And we'll do this one more time. Inhaling. And exhaling. Lovely. So now we're going to bring yourself forwards onto all fours. So turning onto the lengthwise of your mat. So we want to make sure that we've got our hips are nice and wide here. There's no point in having a narrow stance here. We want to make lots of room for baby. And we're going to have the hands forwards of the shoulders. We don't want them stacking right underneath the shoulders, because that puts a lot of pressure onto that wrist joint, and sometimes we suffer from swollen wrists in pregnancy. That's something you might be suffering from. So we want to make sure we're not putting all of our weight onto our wrists. So we take our hands forwards of the shoulders. This gives us that nice angle. It opens us up more into the chest. So we're feeling really open. We've got our baby hanging safely here in his little hammock. So we've got lots of space for you and lots of space for baby. This is a really great position to be in during labour. So you can just move around and just start swaying. So just going with your movements. It's really nice in pregnancy yoga if you're just really listening to your body. As I said at the beginning of the practice, every body is different. Every pregnancy is different. Every position of your baby, the stage of pregnancy you're in, the size of your baby, everything's different. So everybody's going to be different in what feels good and where they need to stretch. So moving from side to side, and then taking the feet together, we're going to open the knees up to mat distance, and we're just going to sink back down towards the heels. And then we're going to come forward. Inhale up. Exhale down. Inhale up. So really try and move with the breath. Exhale down. Inhale up and exhaling through the mouth, which really helps everything to relax. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. So just resting here, we're going to take our hands, bend our elbows, place our hands on top of each other and just rest the forehead onto the backs of the hands. So this is our child's pose. So any time that you feel you need to take a rest, you can come into child's pose and just find your breath and just relax. If you want to take an extra stretch through the shoulders, you can always stretch out through the arms and rest the forehead onto the mat. This is another nice option. And another one that I like to do is if I'm feeling particularly tight through the shoulders or through the triceps, is to bring the palms of the hands together and bring them over towards your back. So we're coming down here. So thumbs are pressing into the very tops of the spine. Lovely. So wherever you are, I want you to come back up onto all fours. And if you're feeling a little bit sore through the knees, you can either roll your mat up, tuck it underneath each other, or if you've got a blanket, you can just place that under the knees. So coming back into that all fours position, we're just going to take that right leg behind you and just give that a nice stretch. So we're just coming forwards and backwards. And then swapping over to the other leg, coming forwards and backwards. And then bring them down. So we're going to take a cat-cow now. So as we exhale, we're coming up, arching the back, lifting the tailbone up. And as we inhale, we are curling under. Chin comes to chest, really arching through the spine. Exhale. And inhale, curling down. Exhale. And inhale. Exhale and inhale, and then coming back to your neutral spine, take those knees nice and wide, sinking back, coming into that child's pose once again. So you've got the backs of the hands option, you've got the hands forwards or even the hands together behind you. Wherever is comfortable, just to rest. This isn't a stretching pose. And making sure the shoulders are relaxed. So just sitting up for a moment onto the heels, or if this isn't comfortable, you can sit with your legs out. We're just going to take some circles with the hands. So with this position, you might start to feel a little bit tight through the knees. If that is the case, then you can place a block underneath just to lift you up, or even if you've got your cushion, you can place that underneath the heels. So you're in this position here. So I'm lifted, I'm supported, and it's taking that deep bend off of the knees. So keeping with the circles, so whichever way, moving them however feels good, and then just take the hands together and we're just moving through the wrists, just really loosening them up, particularly if they're feeling quite tight, quite swollen. This is a nice one. Okay, so just releasing through the arms. So we're going to take that left hand down, we're going to inhale, raise that right arm up and come into a nice side bend. Inhale, lift up, lift both arms up, and exhale, take it over to the other side. Inhale, both arms up, exhale, taking that side bend. Inhale, up, exhale, side bend. Inhale, up, exhale, side bend. And then come back to the center. Bring the hands down, placing the left hand onto the right knee, or you can keep it onto the left knee, whichever feels more comfortable. And with that right hand, you're just taking it behind you, just looking over your shoulder into just a really gentle twist. And come back to the center, swapping over, so right hand onto the left knee, left hand comes behind you, just resting the fingertips lightly onto the floor, looking over that shoulder, and we're still lifting up through the chest, arching through the back, making lots of space here for baby. And then come back to the center, just give the arms another shake. So we're going to come into standing position now. So what we want to do to come into your standing position is we're going to come into a squatting position. So we're not going to be here for very long, so if you know this is uncomfortable, then you can rock yourself forwards and backwards, coming in and out of it until you're ready to come back up. If not, we're coming all the way up into that squat position, just spending a moment here. We're lifting up through the belly, lifting up through the chest, lots of space here. At the moment we're just here as a transition, so we're going to straighten up through the legs, taking the feet nice and wide. So at the moment, comfortable for me is for my feet to be off the mat, so I've got lots of space here. And just resting the hands onto the shins so we can have a nice flat back. We're sending the sit bones away from us. We're sending the crown of the head forwards. And then bending through the knees, tuck the chin to the chest, slowly raise yourself up into standing position. Okay, we're just going to do some side bends. So we're going to raise the arms up, and then we're going to take the left hand onto the right wrist. We're just going to take a side bend over to the left. And inhale back up, swapping over. Right hand on the left wrist, taking that side bend. Inhale back up, swapping over, left hand on the right wrist, side bend. Try not to lean forwards. We're keeping our hips, our shoulders and our feet all in line. Come back up, swapping over, right hand on the left wrist, taking that side bend. Coming back up, just shaking out through the arms. So we're going to come into what's called a warrior one. So to do this, what we want to do is to take, with the right foot, we're going to turn it out about 90 degrees onto our mat. So it's about 2 o'clock. And we're going to take that left foot forwards, and we're making sure that we've got our hips are square. So if you notice your tipping to the side and it's difficult to get to face forwards, you want to take that left foot out even wider. So have a nice wide stance, probably wider than you would if you weren't pregnant. Just making lots of space. It's not about looking perfect all the time, it's about feeling good and making space for you and for baby. So when we're in this position and you feel comfortable, you feel stable, you're not wobbly, then you're going to just begin to bend that knee. What you want to make sure is happening is your knee is staying over the ankle. So if you notice, like here, you can see my knee has come over my ankle. You want to step forwards. And then from here you have some options. So you can have the hands at the heart center and just work on opening through the chest, taking the shoulders open, taking the elbows back. You can come into like a cactus pose with the arms, the elbows in line with the shoulders, or you can bring the arms up, and this is your full warrior one here. So we're holding this. So this is really great to open up through the chest. We're opening up into the shoulders, we're making lots of space, and we're strengthening through the legs. Remember to breathe and soften and drop the shoulders down. And bring the hands to the heart center. Straighten up that front leg. We're just going to begin to tip forwards. You don't have to come very far. This might be as far as you want to come. You might be able to come all the way down, and you'll feel this nice stretch into that left glute, but don't take it too far, to just feel a gentle, comfortable stretch. And then bring yourself back up, and we're going to slowly bring that foot back so we feel nice and stable, and just giving the legs a shake out. And we're going to swap over sides. So that left foot is turning out about 90 degrees. So this time we're on about 10 o'clock. And we've got that right foot is coming forwards. And again, moving out as much as you need to so your hips are facing forwards. Feel nice and strong here. And then bending that front knee. Have a look down, check your knee and your hip are all in a nice straight line, and your knee is over your ankle. Take a breath here, and then wherever you'd like to have the hands, it can be in a different position to what you had last time, or you might like to have that same position. If you've got the arms up, then really work on lifting through the chest, lifting up through the chin. We're not crunching back to gaze up at the hands, we are just keeping the gaze forward but lifted, almost like we're looking at a picture on a wall. Drop the shoulders down. Make the most of the space by taking deep inhales and long, slow exhales. And bringing the hands to the heart center, palms together, straighten up that right leg, and we're tipping forwards. And looking down towards the front of the mat, so we're keeping the neck really long here. Keep that right hip back, it will want to automatically tip forwards. So trying to imagine you've got a tray of drinks on the base of your spine, and you're keeping them nice and straight, not spilling anything. And again, breathing here. If you start to get cramp or it's uncomfortable, ease out of it, come back up. And then slowly lift yourself up. Bring the hands onto the hips, slowly walking back. And then just shaking out through the ankles. So we're going to come down into a lunge position. So what we want to do is to have the feet wide apart. We're just going to start to ease down, so bending the knees, hands down onto the floor, coming into that squat position if that is comfortable. Walk the hands forwards, coming into your all fours. Again, you might like to pad underneath the knees. And we're going to slowly bring that right foot forwards. So you might need to give it a little bit of a help, or you might be able to just come straight into that position. The more you practice it, the more confident you will become, and the more easy it will become to do it in one big movement. So we're just going to make sure that we take that foot nice and wide. Again, maybe taking it off of the mat. This is all about making space. This isn't just the only place that we can be on our mat. We can make use of all the space around us. So I've got my foot probably 2 feet. So I've got a hand and a foot wide off the mat. And I've got my hands forwards. They're not underneath the shoulders. I'm not restricting myself. I am nice and forwards. If you have a block, then it's really nice here, or a nice thick book, to bring yourself up onto that, and that just lifts up the floor, just gives you more space, more comfortable for me at this stage of pregnancy. So we're just going to begin just by moving as feels good for us. So you're tuning into your body, not worrying about what I'm doing, but thinking what feels good for you today. So I'm just going round in just very gentle circles. And this is really nice to open up through the hip. If you're suffering from any pelvic girdle pain, I would advise taking your foot right back into almost a 90-degree angle, a bit like with our warrior one, and maybe bringing that foot in a little bit more. So you're restricting that movement. We don't want lots of opening if you're suffering through the hips and that feels uncomfortable. So wherever you're working, you're just moving with your body. So we're going to take that foot very gently back now. Just come into your child's pose just to ease out the hip. So coming down, if you've got that block or the books there, you might like to just rest on those. And then coming back up, so we're going to do the same on the opposite side. So taking that left foot forwards, again off the mat. So I've got mat, hand, and then my foot. And then finding that comfortable position. I'm slightly turning my left foot out to the left. So again, we've got that kind of 10 o'clock position with the foot. And just moving any direction that feels good. You can obviously build up this movement the more you practice in these positions. But as this is for beginners, for people who've not really done yoga before, we don't want to take the stretch too much. We want to ease the body into these movements. So just moving and swaying. And you might like to maybe hold a position if that feels good. If you notice a tight spot, hold it. Make the exhale really long. And just release. And then we're going to take that foot back behind us. Come back into that child's pose, so legs nice and wide, sinking down. and then coming back up. So just moving the blocks to the side. We're going to come into staff pose. So again, for this position, you can bring yourself onto your cushion. If you've got any pain, particularly into the coccyx, which moves during pregnancy, it becomes soft and relaxed to help the baby come out. And so that can obviously feel quite painful if you're sitting on the floor, so cushions might be really nice to put under here. Alternatively, you can come into seated onto a block, which will lift up the hips, particularly if you're tight here. So make yourself as comfortable as you can be, because that's what this is all about. So with our legs outstretched, we want to tuck in the right leg. If you notice there's a really big gap in your leg here, so say if your leg was up here, I would advise using that cushion, the books, the blocks, anything you've got, place that underneath there. Then you don't have to keep working on holding that up. That can just rest quite comfortably where the blocks are. So I'm going to come back to the side so you can see. So what we're going to do here is we're going to take that left leg again off the mat. So we've got nice wide, lots of space here. We feel really open, we're not restricted. If you suffer from pelvic girdle pain, I would advise not taking the leg too far out, but just keeping it nice and in line so we're not overstretching. So then what we're going to do is just take that left hand and just begin to walk it down the leg. So we might just be resting onto the thigh, down onto the shin. You might be able to take hold of the foot. And then with that right hand, you can just place that by the knee. So then you've got lots of support here. You're feeling really open through the chest. I'm not arching down. It's very difficult to arch down when you've got a big baby in your tummy anyway. So I'm opening and lifting through the chest, almost like I'm trying to take my chest to the floor rather than my head or my face. So I'm reaching forwards and I'm breathing. I'm keeping everything soft, my shoulders, my neck, my jaw, even my hands are soft. And then walking the hands back up. I'm going to take the legs straight. Just give them a bit of a shake and just take the hands behind you, fingertips facing towards you. Just open up through the chest just to counteract that forward bending. Relax through the belly. And swapping over. So that left foot tucks in. Again, you might want to place some blocks or a book or a cushion underneath there just to open up, and you can do the same sort of thing. And then we're just starting to walk the hands down the leg, making sure we're lifting and opening as well as leaning forwards. Maybe taking hold of the foot. And then that left hand is there for support to lift us up. And there's no pulling on that leg. Everything is just open and relaxed. And just a natural bend. And then coming back up, so slowly walking the hands up, taking both legs out, give them a shake, and then opening the chest. So one last pose just to finish, just bending the knees. So we can lift up through the chest, so we're feeling open here. And then what we're going to do is just take the feet over to one side. So just very gently, so keeping the knees open. We don't want to have closed knees, not that my knees will actually close now. Just beginning to tip them over to one side, and then just take the gaze over to the opposite side. So this is the same position as a lying twist. Obviously you're keeping upright, still got lots of position to move, to breathe, to be open. And then coming back to the center, just adjusting the feet, making sure they're in a line, and then dropping over to the other side. And then come back to the center. Bring yourself forwards, just have the feet, soles of the feet together, just open up through the knees. So wherever you need to be, as far forward as the feet want to be. This might be a comfortable position to be in. You might be able to have them open. Again, with that pelvic girdle pain, you want to make sure we're not really open. You want to have a forward stance here. And just lifting up through the chest, opening up through the knees. We're not feeling a strain, it's just a comfortable opening position. And then taking the hands underneath the knees, bringing them up. So we're going to come into a relaxation now. So what I would advise is getting lots of props, lots of blankets, lots of cushions, making yourself nice and warm, and just bringing yourself onto your left hand side. So you might want to grab maybe a second cushion or a pillow if you've got something at home, placing one underneath your head and then one in between your knees. You might even have a pregnancy pillow or a nursing pillow that you can use here. So just finding yourself into a comfortable position and just laying yourself down. If you don't feel like laying down, you can always stay in a seated position, like we were at the beginning of the practice. So we're going to spend a few minutes here, so make sure you're warm, make sure you're comfortable. So just beginning to close the eyes once again. And just tune into the breath, so slowing it down once again. And noticing where you're at this particular moment. You've just done some yummy relaxing yoga to really open up through the body. So hopefully your muscles are feeling warm, they're feeling energized. And maybe they're feeling a little bit more relaxed and open. So with each exhale, just imagining you are sinking a little bit deeper into your mat. It's almost like you're laying on some wet sand. And with each exhale, you just slowly sink down just that little bit more into the sand. You're just melting completely into the earth. Just letting go of your practice. Anything you thought went well or didn't go so well, need to practice that, mustn't do that. Just letting it go. And just letting go of anything coming up. As we come to the end of our practice, we may begin to start thinking about the next thing to do. try and remain in your practice, in your relaxation. Making the most of these last few moments and letting your body completely relax, rewarding it for its hard work, for supporting you, for supporting your baby. Remembering that your body is doing great things without you having to even try. You don't have to tell your body how to grow your baby. It knows exactly what to do. So we can reward and celebrate our body by taking time out of each day to allow it to relax, to allow it to rest, and to re-energize, ready for the next big thing it has to do to help support you through your pregnancy and help your baby grow big and strong. Using the exhale to release even more. Feel yourself becoming more and more relaxed. Almost as if you are now floating like a soft cloud. Not using any muscles, you are completely supported. You can let go. And just taking the last few relaxing breaths. And then just beginning to slowly bring yourself back down. You've been floating in your cloud, sinking into the sand. Just slowly bring yourself back to your body. Just feeling your hands resting either on your knees or onto the floor. And any contact you have with the earth, just noticing that light touch. Once again, keeping the eyes closed, beginning to become aware of your surroundings. And making your breath a little bit deeper, a little bit more energized. And then start to bring movement into the fingers and the toes. And allow that movement to grow through the body, into the arms and the legs, into the head. Just slowly bringing that movement back into the muscles. And if you're laying down, when you're ready, just bring your hands underneath by your face and just slowly bring yourself up into your seated position. And then keeping the gaze low, just very gently opening the eyes, allowing the light to come back, allowing your eyes to adjust. And when you're ready, slowly raising the head. We're going to take some breaths just to finish of our practice. So taking the arms to your side, we're going to inhale up, bring the palms together, and exhale, bring them down to the heart center. Do that twice more. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, bring them down to the heart center. And once more, nice energy filled one. And exhale, keep the hands at the heart center. Thank you very much for joining me for my practice today. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know what you thought, and don't forget to like and subscribe the video so you can keep up to date with more pregnancy and yoga videos. And I'll see you in my next video. Namaste.